So, hello everyone, and welcome back to STW Sports. I'm host Samuel Wright. Today, I'm joined by Walsall fan Jamie Bates. And Jamie, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on. And first question I'm going to ask is about Walsall season as a whole. Really, 14th at the moment in League Two. Obviously, survival well and truly secured. A good win at the weekend against local rivals Port Vale as well. A managerial change. It's been a very eventful season, you'd say, for Walsall, but overall one that's maybe given you a bit of hope going into next season.
I think it was a really good win on the weekend. I think it was a needed win. I think the players knew how much it meant to the fans, and I think it was a good really. I think with a difficult one coming up against Swindon at home and also Colchester away, I think it's going to be a difficult two games, but a good win against obviously a very good, strong Port Vale side, but obviously they was missing their striker. So it was one of them. I thought it was a game where we was both fairly even. I don't think there was many chances created. I just think we had the cutting edge, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, obviously looking at the season as a whole as well, it's kind of been a season of two, obviously. Matty Taylor, first half of the season, a very inexperienced manager. I guess that kind of didn't really work in his favour. Then you've had Michael Flynn, and we know Michael Flynn always fell a little bit short with Newport in the playoffs, but he's a very good manager of Newport. I'm sure many of their fans would say. Do you feel like there's a lot of optimism with Flynn around at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's good that we've got an experienced head in there instead of, obviously, Matty Taylor tried his best, but as you said, he was very inexperienced. So I think he gave it his all, and in the end, it wasn't enough. And obviously, we was towards the relegation zone, so it was looking a bit scary at that time. But then, obviously, we got some amazing wins against Forest Green and Tranmere when Forest Green obviously first going up, but Tranmere were also second at the time. And Flynn brought that new fire in the team, I think. I think he's brought, I think it's the fact that he doesn't stand for anything. If we have played rubbish, he will say we've played rubbish, and he will praise the players when we've played well. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Also, as well, looking at the season, what would you say has been the best result for you this season?
I'd say, I did say it in my recent video, but I would say the Port Vale one was a personal favourite for mine. I mean, if you're talking about neutral fans, I'd probably say the Newport game, because that was obviously a phenomenal game, 3-3 with Wilkinson scoring a very good goal late on. But I think for personal reason, and a lot of other Walsall fans, I think that win against Port Vale, considering how high up they are, and we have also dented their automatic promotions a bit. Like, I think they might still go up, but I think we have affected that a lot, probably affected their confidence. So yeah, I think it has to be the Port Vale win.
Yeah, in terms of a player of the season at Walsall as well, anyone who stands out for you?
I would personally, not a phenomenal player, like attacking wise and all that, but I think he'll consistently give you a 7 out of 10, and that's what you want really. Like, at this level, obviously there's some games where players outshine everyone, and obviously there's a lot of games where Kinsella's outshone by certain players, but a lot of them players lack consistency, whereas I think Kinsella brought it week in, week out, really. And we all know how solid Kinsella is as a midfielder. So,
yeah, in terms of end of the season goals, obviously you're playing for very little now, Walsall, of course. Last couple of games you're going into, but what would you say, in terms of end of the season? Obviously, you're looking ahead to next season, like a lot of clubs are in that mid-table bracket. What would you say going into next season is the main aim, really? Do you think it's important to get some momentum, or do you think it's very important for Flynn that he gets a summer behind him to take the club up there?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think we should really go for it in the final two games, because there's nothing to play for, as you said. Like, we can't go down, we can't go up. So we should really go for it and try out some players, because obviously we have a lot of players on loan who won't be there next season, or we have players running out of contract who we don't know if we are going to give them an extended contract. So I think for the final two games, I think it's a perfect opportunity to try some players, and then maybe, as you said, build some momentum for next season. And then Flynn will know more, because he'll have a break to know what he's working with properly.
Yeah, also want to ask as well, Yeah, about the season as a whole in League Two, really. What have you made of? I mean, obviously promotion. Well, Forest Green are already up now. Of course, Oldham, of course, are relegated along with Scunthorpe United. What have you made of the season in League Two as a whole? Do you think it's been a very entertaining season in League Two, or do you think it's been one that was quite predictable, or how do you stand on it?
I wouldn't say predictable at all because obviously Oldham are the first team ever to play in the Premier League, and now they're going to be playing in the conference. So I don't think loads and loads of people would have predicted Oldham to go down. But I think it's one of them where I think it's been so close, especially at the top, and it's literally went down to the final couple of games between Stevenage, Barrow, and Oldham to see who's going down. I think it has been entertaining. There's been some really good games, and I think Forest Green winning the league, I don't know if it was too much of a surprise to people because I think people see Forest Green are a club in the right direction, personally. But I think, yeah, there's some teams like up there that you might not have thought before the season, like teams like Sutton and all that, that you might not have thought, okay, they're going up. And then teams like Bradford being like around mid-table, when a lot of people with how big Bradford are expected them to go up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, in terms of Forest Green going up, you mentioned then about maybe not too much of a surprise, but I mean, obviously, just the thought of Forest Green being in League One, playing against the likes of your
Yeah.
Derbys, your Portsmouth, Sunderlands, maybe even Sheffield Wednesday. It's a big achievement for Forest Green, really, isn't it? And I think that maybe gives other teams in League Two that little bit of belief, because obviously, I think anyone in League Two could probably, if they have a good season, all it takes is one good season to go up. And does that give you belief as a Walsall fan?
You cut out a bit there, mate, just before the end. What did you say just
Oh,
before
sorry.
that?
I was saying, do you think, obviously, the fact that you see like Forest Green going up, does that give you hope as a Walsall fan, maybe, that it gives everyone in League Two a bit of hope that anyone can really do it in this division? All it takes is one good season.
Yeah, I think so, because I think, I know this is like a bit irrelevant, but Forest Green's player, like the player who got and everything, and he wasn't the best at us, but I think it shows what players at certain clubs can do, and we should have some hope for next season. I mean, I think it's one of them where it's going to be another rebuild progress, because I think in these lower divisions, I think most seasons for most clubs, it's rebuild, rebuild, rebuild. But I think that if we can, I'd hope to finish in a playoff position next season. I can't see us winning the league or anything, but I'd really hope to finish in a playoff position next season.
Yeah, and obviously as well with looking go. I mean, I mentioned next season already a little bit. Obviously with Michael Flynn, do you feel like looking at the teams maybe coming up from the National League? I mean, obviously we're not sure who that's going to be yet. Stockport are in a very good position, and obviously one team from the playoffs, and the teams also coming down from League One. Of course, the likes of Crewe have already been confirmed, and then you've already got obviously a couple of others, Doncaster, I believe, as well. And do you think that it's going to be an open League Two next year? Do you think it's anyone's league?
I think it's going to be a difficult one, because I think the two teams that are most likely to come. So I think it's going to be very difficult to judge the season for next season, because as we've seen with teams like Sutton and all that, anyone can be in and around the playoffs or in the playoffs. So I think next season's going to be a very unpredictable one. I think next season might be a bit more entertaining than this season. But I think, as you said, with the teams coming down as well, obviously they've played League One football for a whole year, and that's obviously the step above us. Even though they've come down from League One, they've got the better division experience. So I think it's going to be quite difficult with the teams that are in the lower leagues coming up, and then the teams that have played League One football at a higher level, obviously coming down. I think that's why I'm saying, like, I'll hope for playoffs, but I could see us, like, as long as we finish top 10 next season, I'll be a happy Walsall fan.
Yeah, and the final question I've got for you regarding this season is if you had to predict right now where you think Walsall will finish, obviously it doesn't really matter too much now in that mid-table area, but where do you think you'll finish this season?
I think we'll probably finish 14th, 13th, where we currently are, really. I think, I don't think, as I said, I'd like to go into the final two games with a lot of motivation and that, and just for the fans to cheer about. But the players will also be thinking, okay, we don't have much to play for. I hope to finish strong. I hope to finish on 3 wins, obviously, with the win against Port Vale. But yeah, I'm going to say 14th, 13th, around there.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much, Jamie. That's all we've got time for this evening anyway on STW Sports. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll speak to you soon. And good luck, of course, to Walsall moving forward.
Cheers, mate.